good to see you so early in the morning on a another beautiful sunny day. Welcome to the Archival Assembly number 3. For those of you who were not at the opening events in the plural yesterday, I welcome you in particular, of course. When you came in, you might have heard some sounds from the archive. This is from the Jack Smith archive. It's a piece from a sound piece taken from Midnight at the Plaza Foundation, and we have it in our archive because we organized together with Mark Siegel and Susanne Sachse curated a Jack Smith program 15 years ago already, and this piece of sound just stayed in my memory ever since, and so we thought this is a good opportunity, and now you all know it's for free, this event, but you have to pay 50 cents. Or sign the Vinzenz list.
We'll get to that in a second.
So we are here at Silent Green Kuppelhalle for the symposium. This gives me the opportunity to thank in particular Linda and Kai who are here. And of course the rest of the team who made this possible again. And for those of you who have been here last year at Archival Assembly number 2, you might have noticed that this is not a 2 or 3 day event, the symposium. It's happening every day in the morning. And the reason for this is very simple, because last year after the 2 days of symposium, a lot of participants just left and didn't have the chance to join the rest of the program, the festival program. So we thought, why not have a little bit of everything every day? So we hope you're all here for 4 or 5 days, so you can also attend other event formats such as the Found Future sessions, which are taking place at Cinema Transtopia in Lindauer Straße, more or less around the corner from here. And there's also next to Cinema Transtopia, you'll find the Migas listening bar. And they just opened in time for us. It's really a listening bar, and there you can listen to archival sounds every day. We also have an exhibition which we opened yesterday, and this is across the street, Gerichtsstraße 53, in our future offices for Forum and Forum Expanded and our distribution, because as you know, we are moving, Arsenal is moving, and this is it's not only the cinema that is moving, but of course also the offices. The cinema, maybe we have the time throughout this festival, so I can show you. The future cinema will be over there in the west wing of Silent Green. It will open in probably January 26. And so the Archival Assembly number 4 will then take place in our new spaces, and then you don't have to commute anymore. Everything will be in Wedding then. That's all from my side. I wish you a wonderful now symposium, but then of course also rest of the festival with many events. We learned from last year and reduced the program a little bit so it's more manageable for all of you. I hope it's enough for you. And now I just hand over to Vinzenz Hediger.
All right, welcome from my side. It's, as I said yesterday, it's been our privilege and one of the great pleasures of my academic life and life otherwise to be invited to participate in developing Archival Assembly for the last 4 years now. It's normally a biannual event, but we had to move Archival Assembly number 3 up by a year because of the impending relocation of Arsenal to this location. And after that, we'll revert to a biannual rhythm. One way of describing Archival Assembly is as the regular meeting or congregation of a global network of accidental archivists, curators, scholars, filmmakers to discuss the progress of everyone's work and to take stock of what the network as a whole is achieving and what we're all moving towards. And for that, the symposia have obviously changing topics and renewed thematic orientations. And the topic for this year, as you all know, is archival sounds, sound archives, resounding archives, a sort of ambiguous, dynamic title that directs us and directs our attention towards the politics of listening to moving images. As Stefanie was saying, in the first two editions, we sort of crammed all the academic content into 2 days, which was good, intense, but also a bit much, and it disconnected the scholarly debate from the festival, or had a tendency to disconnect the scholarly debate from the rest of the festival. So we chose to recalibrate the program, and actually we're doing something now that is quite unusual, I think, namely stretch a 2-day symposium out over 4 or 5 days, so as to give all of us enough time to meet, discuss, talk, to listen to sounds, to watch films, and to fully benefit from the rich network and tapestry of moving images, sounds, words, thoughts that we're bringing together here. One of the starting points of our symposium this year is a simple idea, but I think quite powerful idea, formulated by Michel Chillon, the French film theorist and musicologist, who once said, somewhat polemically but usefully, that film is essentially a sound art, challenging the primacy of the image in everyone's approaches to film. And as I was saying yesterday, in the opening remarks at the Arsenal, there's a good test for the validity of the statement, or for, let's say, the heuristic power of that statement. If we consider that when you touch the image track, you will raise a polemic, as was the case, for instance, in the 1980s, when suddenly rights owners in the US started considering coloring classical Hollywood films in order to make them more suitable for contemporary audiences, and that led to a massive public outcry, and the project was abandoned because it was deemed borderline blasphemous to modify the image in this way. Whereas people around the world have been living with dubbing and dubbed versions and alterations of the soundtrack without any complaints for going on 100 years now. So that tells you something about a certain hierarchy of value, and part of what we're doing here is challenging that particular bias. The other thing that we're doing, obviously, is to ask what the status of archival sounds and archived sounds is in relation to the moving image. We're exploring sounds that are very difficult to archive. Foley is one topic, gossip, talking about films is another important topic. And another thing that we're doing is that we're trying to expand the geographical reach of the network. We have guests from Central and Eastern Europe, we have guests from Central Asia, and we continue to have a lot of guests from across Africa and Latin America. The idea is that in each panel we have 2 short presentations, and then more or less an hour for discussion. The moderators will animate the discussion, but you can jump in at any point. 2 sessions of this type per day, and then we stroll over to the soundbar and towards the evening congregate again at the Arsenal to watch films. I'm very happy that you could all make it. Some of our delegates are still on planes, ships, and trains coming here, but I think that the group will also grow a little bit as the week moves along. I have to thank, and I do it with pleasure, the funders that made this possible. The entire festival is supported by the Kulturstiftung des Bundes, which is the main sponsor of the event, if I'm not mistaken. And the symposium was made possible with the generous support of Deutsche Forschungsgesellschaft, DFG, the main funding body for research in Germany. And we have some additional funding from 2 funding bodies in Frankfurt who were generous enough to consider Silent Green as part of the extended notion of Frankfurt. You know, it's the Frankfurt School, it's a global thing. So the Freunde und Förderer is one of those organizations, and the other one is a body called Stiftung zur Förderung der internationalen Beziehungen. And together with the DFG, they made it possible for us to bring all of you here and hopefully treat you generously enough so that you are going to have a good experience in this hall and outside. I mentioned this yesterday. The DFG money comes with a catch. We have to prove that we have 40 PhDs in attendance with signatures. And what will happen now is that I will be chasing PhDs through this hall and the premises for the rest of the week until I have my 40 signatures. Those of you who've already signed, thank you so much. The other ones, be ready. And with that, I think we can move on and call to the podium our first panel, which is moderated by Petra Löffler, Professor of Media Studies at the Karl von Ossietzky University in Oldenburg. And her 2 panelists are Erika Balsam from King's College and Mark Siegel, who just sat down again for reasons that I don't understand. Are you podium shy? All right, come on, guys. Floor is yours.